All right, well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm glad that we have a nice, what I would call a full house, because this is a special class. It's a master class, which means that we want it to be small so that everybody can really understand and take in all the information that Jason is going to be giving on this class and the next two. There's going to be a lot of information, so you've got paper and an outline for this first session, and I think that will be really helpful. Let me introduce Jason. Jason is a native Arizonan who grew up in Tucson, Arizona. He's completed a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Arizona in Religious Studies and History. He has a Master's of Divinity degree from Fuller Theological Seminary. He enjoys reading. He's a voracious reader, let me tell you. As well as teaching and writing on Scripture and theological matters and practice of Christian spirituality and other topics of current concern. Jason is a campus minister with the InterVarsity Christian Fellowship in the Graduate and Faculty Ministries Division. He primarily serves Graduate Christian Fellowship students at the University of Arizona. Jason is a member of King's Cross Anglican Church in Tucson, and he serves under the congregation as a lay missioner. He is also the author, which I hope we can have some books next time, on living God's life.
I had a very, I'd say fairly unique conversion experience when I was in high school. And as a result of that, I had a fire in my belly, as you might say, for learning. And so I've started reading and studying church history and reading primary sources and getting a hold of all these really old texts that nobody reads anymore. And I've been doing it for now 30 plus years. And so that's where my desire, a lot of my knowledge has come from, just a sustained study over many, many years. Which comes out of my own personal experience and my conversion experience. And I would call myself a mystic, a rather reluctant one. It was never anything I sought out. It was very much something that God sought out to make of me, is how I would say it. So not only do I come at this from more of an intellectual, historical perspective, but I also come at it from a very personal perspective. That is not to say, please don't misunderstand me, I'm not an expert, okay? But I do know something about this personally, experientially. So, but there are many others who know far more than I do. So, the focus of what we're going to do here is going to be, a lot of it is going to be historical, because, you need to know names, you need to know places, you need to know people, you need to know basic ideas, you need to know the historical kind of flow of how we got here after 2,000 years of history. What formed kind of the basic contours of Christian spirituality. And I hope you come out on the other end of it having a much clearer, sort of bigger picture survey level of knowledge. And then you can kind of go, oh yeah, I've heard of that guy, I've heard of her. Yeah, I've heard about that book. Oh, that's why that book's so important. That's why so-and-so really, this is the kind of stuff I hope you come out of it with. And then therefore you've got a bunch of resources that you can then take your own path and, go order the book. That's what I'm hoping this does. It stirs all of you to continue to search for yourselves. For today, what I want to do today is I want to dialogue with you. So in order for this to work today, you all need to talk to me. We need to talk to each other, okay? The next two sessions are going to require me doing a lot more talking and you all doing a lot of listening, just because of the sheer amount of information that needs to be summarized, described. What I decided to do for today was to break down a basic sort of outline of the teaching of the Bible, okay? What we call biblical theology. Now, this is not exhaustive. If this had been exhaustive, it would have probably 5 or 6 more pages, okay, of headings. But the reason I picked these particular things, the nature of God, the character of God, the personhood of God, God's redemptive and saving work, the centrality of the cross and the resurrection of Christ, God's means of communicating to his creatures, the reason I picked these is because these are the areas of biblical teaching which you see most prominently in the development of monasticism in the Christian tradition. It's going to give you a context for understanding how the practices and the teachings around Christian spirituality developed. What I want to go over today I want to go over this today in order to lay this foundation down so then you know what they built on. They didn't pull out of thin air. They built on Scripture. They built on the teaching of Scripture in the monastic movement. Okay, aesthetic practices, different prayer practices, different spiritual disciplines.